Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Delia Valles Rosales, and I am at Texas A&M University in Kingsville, and I am in the part of the NSF HSI STEM Resource Hub. I co-host this webinar series with Dr. Marta Desmond, and she is at New Mexico State University. I would like to welcome you to our second webinar series in spring 2024, focused on celebrating and learning from successful NSF HSI awards. Today's topic is about improving undergraduate student success through summer research experiences. A little bit of housekeeping. We will start this webinar and it will last 1 hour. Today's webinar, we have 2 speakers and we expect like within 10 to 15 minutes for questions at the end of the presentations. If there is somebody with questions related to the presentations, please use the Q&A room to ask your questions. However, if you have questions related to Zoom or technical questions, please use the chat room of the webinar. At the end of the presentations, Dr. Marta Desmond and I will be curating the questions. And if nobody has a question, or if we have enough questions that we don't have time to go over that one, we will actually post the answer to your questions in our portal. Everybody is welcome to join our network through the NSF HSI Hub. And we are going to be posting the link to the network in a little bit in the chat room. At the end of the presentation, we really encourage you to answer a survey. This survey will take no more than 5 minutes, and please do that because this survey is very good for us to get a feedback as well as to do our report for the National Science Foundation. We are posting the link to the survey on the webinar chat room. This afternoon, we have 2 extremely good researchers in the today's topic, and one of them is Dr. Tuninga, and she serves as a director of the Institute of Sustainability Studies at Montclair State University, and she is a professor in Earth and Environmental Studies. She is a co-creator of National Science Foundation and USDA-funded projects, as well as corporate and private funded projects, and she's award-winning and also interdisciplinary research programs that have engaged more than hundreds of high school students, undergraduate and graduate students from low-income and underrepresented groups in STEM. She engages faculty from diverse departments and colleges, as well as numerous external partnering organizations, including Fortune 500 and multinational corporations, local companies, nonprofit organizations, governmental agencies, and community groups. Our second speaker, the following speaker is Dr. TONI SAUNCY, and she is a professor and chair of physics at LUTHERAN and Texas Lutheran University. Texas Lutheran University is a small private liberal arts institution in Southwest Texas. Dr. SAUNCY holds a PhD in physics and bachelor's degree in mathematics with a career focus on undergraduate physics teaching and research. Dr. SAUNCY has directed several NSF-funded projects aimed at improving and enhancing the undergraduate STEM experience, including the American Institute of Physics Career Pathways projects. And specifically, this one has resulted in important added resources for undergraduate physics departments and physics students nationwide. Dr. SAUNCY leads work on an NSF HSI grant, and this NSF HSI grant is actually called SURE, and SURE means STEM undergraduates reaching for excellence. This project has infused positive collaborative energy within the STEM departments in her institutions, such as in biology, chemistry, math, computer science, psychology, and physics. Please welcome our 2 speakers this afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. And we will start with Dr. Amy Tuninga, and please go ahead and share your slides. Thank you.
So thank you so much for inviting me to speak. I'm really pleased to be here today. And I have a lot to say about our NSF HSI IUSE Award. This project we titled Including Families, Faculty, and Industry in STEM Education to Improve Success in STEM Career Pathways, the Green Team's internship program, because we thought about, first generation college students and students that are coming from low income backgrounds might not have the social capital or the network that other students might have, but they might have a really strong family support, but just not in the pathway to the career that they're choosing in STEM. So we partner families and corporations and nonprofit organizations together to build this large network around the student to help support them in this pathway. Our team is an amazing team. On this grant, we have co-PIs from chemistry and applied math, the dean, sociology, and our associate provost for Hispanic initiatives is on the senior personnel for this grant. Our staff have all been through our program, and you'll hear about it, and most of them are like transitioning from undergraduate to graduate and careers. So it looks like a large number of staff, but they're mostly part-time and finding their way into their career journeys as well. But they're providing really useful support for the programs. We partner, this is a typical cohort for the Green Teams. So we have about 50 students coming from around the country, very different backgrounds. This was our 2023 cohort. And we partner them in teams of 5 because we felt that a team environment might help to increase sense of belonging and decrease that sort of initial hesitation of going into a research project all by yourself when you don't really know much about what that environment is like. So we train students to be critical thinkers and thoughtful leaders, but they're also gaining empathy by hearing, each other's story and learning about each other's background by working in this team environment. They're building out a network within the professional fields that they're aiming to go into, and we give them a lot of professional development along the way as well. So since we started in 2016, we've had 370 interns go through the program. We're going into our 9th year now. And these interns have come from 90 different universities and 135 different degree programs. We've had 47 different hosting organizations host these 74 teams. So some organizations have come back year after year, and every year we have new organizations as well. And together, they've completed over 290 projects for these hosting organizations. So you see some of the projects and the companies, an energy company and the company that we've partnered with for a long time that's on the name of our institute, PSEG, Public Service Enterprise Group, and the utility that sits under it, Public Service Electric and Gas. In the lower left, you see New Jersey Transit hosting a team. And upper right, it's New Jersey Bike and Walk Coalition. I'll talk about them in a minute, a little bit later, on building out a project on the Essex Hudson Greenway, and then the students giving presentations at the end of the program in the lower right. Our students, the majority of the students that apply are female, but we try to balance out teams with male and female non-binary individuals as well. And we have mostly STEM students, but we do include social sciences, which are also funded in NSF programs. And then we include some individuals from the arts as well, and business on the teams because of the mixed deliverables that the team have to address. And we have different sources of funding that cover some of those individuals. Our diversity as far as race and ethnicity, we try to match the demographics in the area that surrounds our university in northern New Jersey. So making sure that we have a very diverse group of individuals. So you can see the cohorts from 2016 when we started with 7 teams with just 35 students and 2 universities, increasing over time through 2017. And in 2018, we had an NSF Includes grant. So we had 12 teams in that year, 60 students. And then 2019, we continued to increase different backgrounds of students. Of course, in 2020, we went virtual. We continued the program. There were just 30 students in the program that year. And then we, with the NSF HSI and another NSF IUS grant, we increased in 2021 back to 12 teams. And then we kind of right-sized a little bit in 2022 and 2023 to 10 teams each year, but continuing to increase the different universities that we're serving. We partner with a lot of different companies. Some of them are multinational, you might recognize, like Honeywell or Prudential, PSEG, as I mentioned before. Some of them are maybe a little less known, like Stryker is a medical devices company, and Firmenich is now merged with DSM. DSM Firmenich is they produce flavorings and scents. But also nonprofits and government organizations and more New Jersey-based organizations as well. The business sectors range from manufacturing to utilities, water and energy, into insurance and healthcare as well. So all different kinds of organizations that we partner with and different business sectors. And then our students have come, as I mentioned, from 90 different colleges and universities, some community colleges, public and private four-year colleges, some Ivy League universities as well. And throughout the country, a lot from New Jersey and the Northeast, but throughout the entire country. So we provide training to the students, both in the classroom and in the field at the beginning, so that we kind of level set a little bit around sustainability. We teach them the scientific parts of sustainability, and then also social aspects of sustainability, the environmental justice and social justice, and then a little bit on the business side of sustainability, like the green accounting and emissions, how to calculate greenhouse gas emissions. We provide opportunities for students to network, to conduct research, to ideate. So they're kind of coming up with some ideas and testing them out, building robots, all kinds of things. And then opportunities for them to collaborate with each other. They have a little bit of time as part of their team bonding experience to do some community service as well. A lot of times this involves food and growing food and donating food, but sometimes there's invasive species or animals and humane shelters and things like that that they like to volunteer just a little bit of time for. We take them on field trips to the United Nations. We attend the Higher Education Sustainability Initiative, high-level political forum, and participated in the Partnership for Sustainability. We take them to the forest and they learn about natural systems and human impacts on natural systems. And then we have events at the beginning and the end of the program each year that are open to the public. They can bring their parents, their professors, corporate individuals, partners attend. We have keynote speakers, both at the beginning and at the end. So it's a great networking opportunity for them. And then they go on site visits to their hosting organizations. In the upper left, you see PSEG. In the lower left, you see Prudential rooftop from some of their properties, the Prudential Global Investment Management Group, the real estate group. In the lower right, you see New Jersey Resources. Some of the kinds of projects the students have worked on, I'm just sharing a couple here. In the upper left was a project that was conducted with the city of Newark, focusing on their emissions and reporting through ICLEI ClearPath. And the students did a lot of data collection and data analysis, and what they found in those little donuts at the top left, the green portion of those donuts is emissions that are municipal emissions coming from streetlights and stoplights. So by changing out their lights in the streetlights and stoplights to LED bulbs, they could reduce emissions by 25 to 30% in the city. And then on the left, the lower left, you see a project that was conducted in partnership with a nonprofit, the Northern New Jersey Community Foundation. And this team put together plans. They did a lot of data collection, data analysis on flooding in 6 municipalities in Northern New Jersey, and put together plans for implementing rain gardens and rain barrels, which would reduce flooding in those municipalities after a significant rainfall event from 2.5 feet down to 3 or 4 inches, so a quarter of a foot. So some pretty significant decrease in rainfall. But we also work on energy projects and waste, food security. So a lot of different kinds of things that connect to sustainability. So again, this is our Northern New Jersey Community Foundation team. You can see that they're coming from Montclair State, Beloit College, Drew, Passaic Community College, and Arizona State, and with majors in marine and coastal science, environmental justice, environmental science, biology, and environmental engineering. So together, they put together those plans for the cities in Northern New Jersey and how to address climate change and significant rainfall events affecting those with flooding. Another project that I wanted to highlight, this was a company that we've partnered with, New Jersey Resources. We've partnered with them for many years. And this particular team from 2022 looked at gases coming off of landfills and wastewater treatment plants and how that could be used as a source of renewable natural gas for heating homes, and how it might be combined with hydrogen to lower the carbon intensity. So they also created a carbon intensity calculator and created and looked at the policy in the state to see how that might need to change in order to be able to reduce emissions by using these gases that are coming up into the atmosphere anyway, instead of natural gas, but use those to supplement for energy. And so again, here's a team of students coming from Montclair State and the University of Miami, Rowan, and Purdue, with majors in jurisprudence and finance, so rounding out, you know, the science with some business and law, pre-law, and the physics and mechanical engineering and biology. So all together, those students are able to address these really difficult problems. And so they're standing here in the green shirts together with the host representatives from New Jersey Resources. And on the right in the orange shirt is a former Green Team member from a 2019 team that served New Jersey Resources. So he went from being a Green Team member to being hired by the company to hosting a team. And the team that he was on actually did a similar kind of preliminary project to this, and they published their results. And we sent them to a national meeting in Nashville to present at the American Institute for Chemical Engineers, AICHE. And they also presented to the State Energy Master Plan stakeholders meeting at the end of the program. So they were quite productive, and then he went on to host additional teams. So we've done research on this team environment, and what we're finding from the research is students are saying, this Green Team's experience absolutely opened my eyes as to how my STEM degree is applied in the real world. The strength of the program lies in the multidisciplinary function of the teams. And I kind of realized that science doesn't work unless you have people from all different backgrounds working in it. And I think this internship helped me to think, oh, I can actually do this, and I am smart enough to do this. So that was pretty powerful. But we also used David Lopato's SURE, the Survey for Undergraduate Research Experiences. And here you see the triangles at the top and the places where on the survey we found some significance at a p-value of 0.05 or less. We saw that there was a significant difference between Hispanic and non-Hispanic students. And this survey was administered after the 10-week program. And it's a pre-post retrospective analysis. So these are self-reported learning gains by the individual saying, I learned to analyze data. And what we're seeing is that our Hispanic students are reporting that higher learning gains for these things. And so just to kind of highlight the really significant learning gains, they included clarification of career path. And again, this was much higher for Hispanic individuals than non-Hispanic, self-identified. Tolerance for obstacles that they faced, the ability to integrate theory and practice, their self-confidence increased, and they built out a learning community, which now has increased. So we're seeing some significant differences. We also see this with females. So we see some self-reported learning gains that are much higher for females than male, significantly. And across the board, all of them are higher. And then we started looking at the intersectionality of this by taking all of the questions and all of the demographics and putting them into a principal components analysis. And so we're seeing, we haven't yet analyzed the statistical difference in these PC scores, but you can see a pattern where, females are higher, Hispanic individuals are higher, but really there may be some intersectionality here that we want to start teasing apart where Hispanic females are gaining the most in this program. Our alumni go off to jobs in a lot of places. We hear from our students when we ask that about 2% of them coming into the program think they might go to graduate school. And by the end of the program, we have about 20% interested in graduate school. And so these are jobs, and that's where the majority of our students go. But even though it's still 20%, that's a pretty big difference between 2% and 20% that students are now interested in graduate school. And we help them with that after they leave the program. I write a lot of letters of recommendation. I talk to students about what different options there are. So we have some student testimonials on our website that I'll point you to. I'm not going to play the videos here, but they're available. And I'd invite you to connect with us and ask questions. My email address, my phone number, and if you use the QR code there, it takes you to our link tree with all of our social media and all of our website is montclair.edu/ISS. I guess one other thing that I'd like to say is, some of the things we're working on right now, and I came into a conversation right at the beginning of this webinar. There is a lot of stress post-COVID, and so we've started bringing counselors into the teams for professional counseling, not personal therapy, but professional counseling, so that it kind of reduces the stress, because this is their first, for many of them, it's their first professional experience. It's their first internship. It's the first time they've had to sit still and really focus on something for long hours. It's the first time that they've been with people from all these different backgrounds. And that coupled with the post-COVID stress, and the statistics I saw a year ago were that 87% of students are having clinical levels of anxiety in college. And we saw the statistic on the news recently that 65% of students are on medication for depression. And so we want to take care of our students, and we provide them with a lot of things. We have laptop loaners, and we try to really lower the barrier to entry. We pay them $6,000 this coming summer. We provide a lot of supports, from shirts and shoes to food and transportation. And so we're trying to look out for them and support them academically, but also as a whole person, emotionally, and with new pathways into their careers. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them after we hear the next speaker. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tunigan. Dr. SAUNCY, are you ready?
I am. Let me
Okay,
start my slideshow. All right. Can you all see my slides? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So hi, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. My program is going to be quite different from the one you just heard about. We're fairly new. So I'm going to tell you about our experience over just 3 years since we got an NSF IUS HSI award a few years ago. So I'll talk to you a little bit about the award. We applied for the IUS HSI award and were awarded in April 1st, 2020. And I hope that date means something to you. You know that it was smack in the middle of sort of the great shutdown that spring term. So we have sort of an automatic 1-year extension because we did not get to do anything that first year. And then really didn't start year 1 until it was by the calendar year 2 of the program. So this work had 3 separate goals, and the big focus is really on faculty development and about how to incorporate culturally responsive teaching and mentoring into our daily living here. As a Hispanic serving institution, I think it was pretty obvious to most of us that we were designated an HSI, but the question was, how are we exhibiting our servingness as an institution? So that's really sort of the focus. And then the 2 student focuses were on getting students engaged in professional development, but then also getting them into the STEM community so that they can start developing identity. So the claim is that if you can make these tiny changes and be very intentional about incorporating cultural variance in your teaching and in your mentoring, then maybe we can be able to really do something important for students at our minority serving institution, even though we're a small liberal arts institution. So we want to really work on fostering this idea that students feel like they belong in the STEM environment. So that's really what this is about. So today I want to just talk about how our summer research program fits into the bigger goals of this work, and then what we've learned so far in this short time since we've been doing it. So as a background, as Delia mentioned, our institution is a small liberal arts, private, faith-based. We were designated HSI in 2011, and we're only one of 2 faith-based institutions in the ELCA, the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, who are designated Hispanic serving, and we have the largest population of Hispanic students in that group. And we are now majority minority in our school and in most of the STEM departments. We have about 200 STEM students, or we did at the start. We don't anymore. And the total student enrollment at our school is only about 1,300 students. When we talk about STEM at TLU, we mean physics, chemistry, biology, math, computer science, and psychology, because we do not have an engineering program, although we do have a 3-2 program, and most of our applied physics majors do go into engineering careers. We've always provided summer research programs for students, but it was a very small line in the institutional budget. The faculty stipend was very low, and the student stipend was even lower. So it was good, and everybody wanted to do it. Students liked it, faculty liked it, but it was a really small budgeted item, and there was not any coordination. So everybody just sort of did their own thing, and there was no group anything. So we saw that as a problem, and that's why we went into this work. So the summer research program that we do here at TLU is aimed at encouraging 1st and 2nd year students. So students, as soon as they've finished their 1st year in college, are invited to apply and participate in summer research. While we do want to provide a meaningful research experience for both faculty and students, there are other sort of underlying goals that are as important, and that is that the students develop a sense of identity and agency as scientists in their field, that they learn about the professional skills and practices that people have in their fields or in their discipline, and really start to build a very tight cohort of peers, not just in their own department, but across a disciplinary in all the departments here at TOU. And so we kind of knew that the key to doing all of this is going to be, how does the faculty mentor interact with the student? So one of the important parts was to start providing faculty workshops and faculty training for how to get better at that. So there are a few things that we do, that we practice as mentors in the summer research program. One is a thing called a Brave Space Agreement, where we have the conversation at the beginning of the summer about how we are going to operate in terms of respecting each other and valuing the opinions of other people, and that everyone deserves to be there, no matter what their background or no matter what their grades were in their classes. We do not focus on solely the GPA of the student who applies. We want students who have potential but may not have been equipped with the skills or the preparation that they needed to be successful so far. We clearly communicate expectations about what should happen over the course of the research term. That means we have contracts with our students, and some of those may need to be individualized. If a student has children, or if a student has siblings that they need to take care of, we need to be really conscious of their family commitments as well. We try to incorporate as much as we can cultural nuance into all the lessons that we teach. And one of our chemistry professors, when speaking with our help from the Center for Mexican American Studies, realized the connection between periodic table element symbols and language. And in Spanish, there's a word, fuerte, which can be, so iron is Fe, and this was really important to the student who spoke Spanish as their first language, to understand that that's why you might name iron with the symbol Fe. So we try to encourage our faculty to share their own stories. Many of our faculty are first-generation students. We try to focus on strengths instead of weaknesses, get away from the model where there's something wrong with the student and we just need to meet them where they are. And then we advocate publicly for change. That means that we try to foster uncomfortable conversations about identity and about the challenges of being someone who may not be in the majority in a room. So I think this is all part of the research experience, not only the science that they're doing. So this focus on mentorship, and there's a lot of words on this slide. I think the key here is that you cannot be a good mentor if you do not have institutional support. You can have really great mentors, but without the collective community institutional support, it's not really very easy to do. So you can't think that all the mentors are standalone wizards. They really do need the infrastructure and the structural supports in place that allow them to be good mentors. And the mentees have to be really considered when we start thinking about good mentorship. So we know that having good faculty mentors, close faculty mentors, really can help our retention, which is one of the goals of this work, to try to get students engaged and retain them in their STEM degrees. So it really is based on this research that's out there about how important mentoring is. And I'll wrap back up with this in the end when we see what the students think about it. So here's a little bit about what we do. This is a typical cohort. We have 6 biology faculty, 2 math CS faculty, 2 psychology faculty, and then 2 physics faculty. These numbers fluctuate a little bit each summer, depending on the interest of the faculty and the number of students. It's a short program, only 8 weeks, and we designed it that way so that students could take summer classes if they needed to, and often our students do need to catch up, so they need that second summer term for coursework. We make it like a mini REU, right? It's not an REU. It's not funded by NSF as an REU. It's a part of a different program, this summer research experience. But we do include professional development each week. We do workshops on professional skills, and then every week we have a speaker, cross-disciplinary. Every discipline is represented over the 8-week period. We provide informal social interactions. We do pay for a 3-hour research course that they get credit for. And then we also provide free housing on campus for students who select to do that. And we do try to feed them often because we found that food scarcity on our campus is a real problem. And so we provide the housing, but we also try to have many opportunities for them to have informal social interactions that involve meals. The project includes faculty support. It's a flat stipend. It's not full summer salary. It's not even 1 month of salary, but faculty are usually willing to do that because they are interested in being with students. And then, of course, we provide these faculty development workshops. And all of this work was founded in work by my former colleague who's now left TOU, who was the Center for Mexican American Studies director and an expert in Latinx culture. So this was very helpful in setting up all these pieces, and hopefully we can sustain that. So here's how it's going. We have over the 3 years, more than 74%, around 75% of our students are first generation college students. If you look at the acceptance rate over the past 3 years, you see that what that means is we're having fewer and fewer applicants every year because we have enough funding to support a certain number of students, and we're getting less applicants every year. Part of that is because the numbers in our STEM programs have decreased significantly since the pandemic happened. And so we're working very hard on marketing and recruitment, but we're not doing a great job. The year one participants have retained to now at a rate of about 85%, which is greater than that 3-year retention rate for the institution. It drops in year 2, and year 3 is just from summer to, from fall to spring retention. And it's also lower than it was in year 1. We do a survey at the end of the summer, and these are just a few of the questions that we find, I think, most useful. One of the questions, if you look at number 1, the dark blue bar, professional development opportunities offered helped me have more confidence in my ability to succeed. So that's this blue bar at the top. But I think the one that we like the most is the dark orange bar, which is the answer to the question, when reflecting on how I felt the first day as a part of the TOU SURE Summer Research Program and where I am now, I feel more confident calling myself a researcher. And so you can see that the confidence level that the students expressed really did increase significantly over the course of the summer. And these are average results over the 3 years. The green bar here at the bottom was the attention question. Are you paying attention? The statement was, I am not sure how this influenced my identity as a researcher. And we got mostly strongly disagree on that question. So that's sort of what we expected. So here are the 3 cohorts so far. Year 1 up in the top left, year 2 in the middle, and year 3 on the bottom. And you might ask, why are you in a classroom for the 3rd picture? Because when we took the picture that day, it was about 100 and I don't know, many degrees outside. So we came inside for the group photo because it was just too sweaty to do it outside. So here's why we focus so much on mentoring. This is just a Wordle made out of the responses to the question, what was the most important part of the summer research program? And you can see that mentors was really high on that list of what was most important. And then here are just 2 of the comments that we thought were reflective of what students get out of this summer research experience, even though they know nothing about what they're doing. They're first-year students, and they're really learning so much while they're here. So I think we're working toward that goal of impacting identity development, developing agency, and having students really see themselves as part of a science community that may not always look like they look. So this is just sort of where we are right now. Here's some resources that we have found super helpful in developing our materials for mentor training. And we'll stop there and give you our contact information. Beth Woods is my co-PI on this grant. She's in psychology, and she and I are now, we used to have a third one, but she's not here anymore, but Beth and I are handling this now. So we'd love to hear your questions and welcome any sort of cross pollination that you might share with us.
Well, excellent, everyone. Thank you so much. This was another really excellent webinar, and we really enjoyed both of your presentations and your perspectives. So thank you so much.